Man, twins.
Yeah,
Oh, really? I know what you
and the
mean.
oldest one is
Yeah.
6.
We-
Darker. Now they're both snippy.
You know what I mean? It's hard to
See,
do.
they had the two one week. Well, he's 18.
Organize my
now,
life over here.
Oh, I know. Some of them are,
And he's awesome.
Yeah, our kids are always spoiled. Always a good thing.
yeah,
All about
exactly.
And
fees.
he's
But,
doing great in school, which surprises me. He's got good work ethic. I don't know where that comes from. You know, but the rest of them,
You're not a stranger.
God no, I just can't quit.
You bored? That's why I was thinking. I
I don't know, she just left. She provided me some feedback. She was wondering if she was fair now or not.
I know, my mom did a week after she retired.
Now, Dad said he might
All right.
go down like 2
Ready?
days a week, so he can fish. The other 2 days are called.
See, that's why I haven't been fishing. I haven't. At least 2 years.
I'm going to call the Tipton Common Council meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right,
Thank you. And the first item on our agenda are the minutes from the last meeting.
I move to approve the minutes as written.
second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as submitted. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed,
I don't even know what
motion passes. Any amendments to the agenda this evening? This is the first meeting of the month. We'll begin with the Board of Works and Safety.
We had a really busy meeting, probably one of the hardest and busiest I remember. Quick update from the cemetery, from the park. There's the recreation group. They're meeting at the end of January to finalize the master plan. Diane also gave us an update on a tree at 528 Northeast. It's not in the city right away, but it's kind of causing some issues. So the mayor took that under advisement to decide maybe how we'll handle that compared to how we've handled it in the past. We approved a change order for bridge patching through the CCMG from 2024 by Midwest Paving. Then the fun began with the Planning Department Enforcement Division. We had a hearing on 327.5 North Independence. Todd Batt showed up on behalf of a property owner, and we went through, I guess you would call it a hearing where we were asking questions on the conditions of the property and how they came to be. And eventually we came to the conclusion that we were going to give the planning office the authority to inspect that one as soon as possible and issue any citations for violations that have not been cured at that point. And we also gave the planning department, hopefully voluntarily, but if we need to, we'll go involuntarily, to inspect the remaining
14
units that this property owner
14
owns.
addresses.
19.
14 addresses.
14 addresses, 19 units throughout the community. The condition that they allowed this unit to be rented at was not good. So we moved pretty hard and fast on that one. Then we also had a brief discussion about 468 North Condi, which was something pretty difficult. We gave Mr. Netherton 30 days to come to the planning office with proof of financing and a bid to demolish, to move forward with that demolition. And then we also issued an order to appear for Mr. Ron Lyle at 525 East Jefferson. He sent a nice letter, but we disagree, so we're going to have an order to appear, ask him some questions. So it was a very, very busy meeting. We also got a great update from the Tipton Arts Commission. I'll let you gonna give an update on that?
I couldn't offer that, yeah.
Yeah, I'll let the mayor give an update on that, but it was very productive meeting.
So just continuing on that, since it does fit in Board of Works, the Tipton Arts Commission did present, they're actually going to report to our first meeting of the month. So they've actually turned in one application for a grant to add sculpture installations along the new trail that we've installed last year. And the second one is a continuation of the grant that they received last year from Indiana Arts Commission and Ball State. So they're working on completing that application. I believe it's in the month of February. So they're working on a work plan that they plan to implement throughout 2025. It's in an informal status right now, but they hope to finalize that in their monthly meeting in February. So we expect to hear more reports from them on what that work plan looks like, ideas and initiatives they plan to execute throughout the year. Moving on to the cemetery board.
The cemetery report's in your packet. Other than that, we did have a meeting. Re-elected office. Joe Ellis Scott is president, Secretary Tammy Brown, vice president is still to be determined. We set all the meeting dates for 2025, and we're looking for an increase in fees for the cemetery, which is in our meeting yet tonight under an ordinance amendment.
Very good.
Can I ask a quick question on the schedule?
Yes.
Is it any different than whatever, is it the second Tuesday of the month, or is that when you guys meet, do you remember?
Did the meeting time stay the same?
6 o'clock on, what day is it we meet? I don't remember, it's on here.
I think it's on.
Has a
It's
date.
Tuesday.
January 21st is the next one. Or no, excuse me. We're not meeting every month. So it's January 21st, March 18th will be our next one. May 20th was marked off, July 15th, September 16th, and November 18th
So every other month.
So that's it.
at 3:45
Tammy will have to adjust the notice.
in the
So,
camp room.
okay. Do you have what you need? Okay. Park board did not meet.
I can give a quick update. I forgot.
Yeah, due to quorum, but there was a brief committee meeting. So they'll look to get back together. They're meeting in March.
Diana gave us an update that they're going to start dismantling the playground equipment for the new playground equipment that she and Keegan worked on to get a grant for. She's replacing some equipment. The vans have been hired. The utility work's done. They should be putting all that back. She's got some trash containers and other things that will also be going on the trail, so beautification of the trail. So she's been really hard at work out there.
I'm a little questionable on the bands.
What,
Itchy Coo Park,
You wanted Leonard Skinner,
something,
Freebird?
Itchy Coo.
4 new bands this year.
Utility board.
Utility board met last Monday in these chambers. Everything is going well. We went over the financials. They look really good. Matter of fact, they look extra good, but probably getting ready to spend about $1 million on trucks. So those light company trucks are very expensive.
Yeah.
But we did, and I'm a slacker because I forgot the copy. But they did decide what logo to put on the new water tower when it's finished and painted. And I will get a copy of that and bring to you guys next.
Is it Tipton and bold 12-point font and Times New Roman?
It's actually pretty cool. It really, I'll bring it and maybe
Please
we
do.
can even put it up here or something, but when you see it, it's Tipton County. It's pretty cool.
It's not an ear of corn, is it?
It is an Iroquois.
Could I go get that?
Part of it. But it's really cool. I'll get a copy of that and bring it.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Thank you. Moving on to new business, we have an additional encumbrance from 2024 to 2025. It's under the CCMG 2024-1 project bid. These are expenses we were expecting before the end of 24, but bled into 25. So like we've done with the other encumbrances, just want to get formal approval from the council. It's for not only a CCMG, excuse me, project, but also the pool parking lot that was part of that bid packet. In your packet, it is the encumbrances that we're approving tonight are highlighted in yellow.
Yeah.
So there's always 2.
Making a motion to approve those 2 additional encumbrances.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the additional encumbrances for the CCMG 2024-1 and pool parking lot. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. No items under old business, and the mayor's report, just anecdotal that some of our efforts with regard to PR and marketing have been leading to more conversations with developers or folks interested in Tipton. So just communication back to the council that while sometimes these efforts don't seem like they're providing some outcome, they are actually contributing to encourage conversations with developers. So just want to make that note that these really have been outperforming even our expectations in this early couple months of 2025. Moving on to resolutions and ordinances, you have the first, and we might be a little out of practice. You guys had a couple meetings off. So ordinance 2025-01, it's an ordinance amending the text of subdivision control ordinance and use table amendment. We do have Judy with us this evening. If you want to provide us a little bit context, it's taken me and Tammy a little bit to get our heads around this. And I do think that what we're seeing tonight is efforts in the right direction, fixing some things in the past. So thank you guys at the Planning Commission for that.
So, yes, the Planning Commission, our standing committee met a couple of times and spent really several hours going over this. What it boils down to is we wanted to make the subdivision control ordinance, we needed to correct a few things, and we wanted to make it a little easier for property owners to split off 1 acre of land. For instance, the county has an ordinance that says if you say you split 1 acre of farm ground or you split off a house or something, and as long as you have 20 acres of ground remaining, you do not need to come through and do a subdivision, which is filing with the Planning Commission, creating a plat, all of those types of things. So this just makes it a little easier for property owners who want to, maybe split off a couple of acres to, for their kids to build a house or whatnot. We also addressed in the use table. So Tipton, interestingly, the city, in the fringe area, they have a zoning district. It's the A1 zoning district for agriculture, but it's out mostly southeast of town. And in that zoning district, in order to do even a 1 lot subdivision, you still have to come to the Board of Zoning Appeals because it's a special exception. It's not permitted by right. So that it's a 2-step process. It's just cumbersome for property owners. And so the idea of the fringe area, I think, is that's where the city is looking to expand. And these were just barriers that were kind of put in place to keep some of that expansion from happening. So the use table, if you look at, I believe Tammy has provided you with 2 copies. There's a red line version. And the red line, it shows everything that's an S is a special exception. We went through, kind of struck that and made that permitted. Those uses are permitted by right.
Well,
Mostly dwellings.
we don't have a red line.
I think the red line was emailed to you.
Oh, it was email.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the one I read. Okay.
Oh, okay. So what you have then is the clean version. Those, the permitteds on the A1, those all used to be special exceptions. Now those are just permitted by right. Well, if the ordinance is approved. So that's the history. It just makes the subdivision control ordinance, adds a little continuity. It makes it more similar to what the county's is so that there's not that, the big difference. Shockingly, it was easier to subdivide in the county than in the city fringe, which I'm not really sure it should be that way. But does anyone have any questions?
So do you, I do see that multifamily dwellings are not, as defined, are not allowed in A1, S1, or R1, almost anywhere except R2, R3. Are there any areas that we should be leery of and maybe need to rezone because of that restriction?
No. The city doesn't have, we have A1 and S1 are the zoning districts, and those just don't allow for multifamily. We can look if you want to make it permitted. I know we did, see. We did make the change for. Sorry. So for two-family, accessory dwelling apartments, conversion dwellings, we did kind of make those changes, but if you think multifamily should be allowed, we can think about
Well, I
that
don't-
as well.
I don't know if it should. I'd have to look at the zoning map. I just don't want to hinder any, apartment complex, quadplex, anything from going in where it could be a good spot for it, but I'd have to look at the zoning map to see.
Really, the only multifamily dwelling zoning we have is in the city. We have a few areas where it is R3, which is just a higher density. We do have R2, which allows for duplexes and things like that, but there's really just a few spots in the city that even allow for multifamily. But it is something we can take a look at.
Yeah, I think we probably should. Like if someone wanted to build a quadplex, essentially, two duplexes, but they're connected on a city lot, for the most part could not.
Right. Well, and even at that, you're looking at, they would need a lot of variances. So even though there's an X, they still have, because we're an advisory plan commission, they still have the option to come to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Mhm.
So if it's that's always there.
Yeah, and that may be the best thing still. I mean, just to keep control over someone building 6 units on a small lot.
And the city, we also, part of the development standard is we require 8,000 square feet per dwelling unit. And so that really cuts down.
The lot has to be
locations
8,000 square feet. I mean, right?
per dwelling. So if you have a duplex, it has to be 16,000 square feet. If you have a triplex.
16,000 square feet.
Mhm.
Lot
How did they-
size,
Mhm.
Lot size. Okay.
Lot
No.
size.
Yeah.
not structure
Gotcha.
size.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like,
The lot, and so that kind of cuts down on location and, where you can,
yeah, and that may
Those
be
are just
something we
all
want
things to look
I
at.
could see that being something we want to look at too, maybe in the future, because that could theoretically, that mean you could be excluding townhomes that you see that are
Yes.
very nice or.
well, that was the big problem. I don't want to say problem, it was the big,
Challenge,
with the
opportunity.
yes, nice word, with the hand project.
Yeah.
And that was
Oh, yeah.
the actual variance that they were seeking, they received, and then ultimately they had to go down to just their original
I
plan,
could see that's
so.
something we need to look at coming up.
Mhm.
I mean, the days of needing a huge yard is not necessarily needed
I
anymore.
agree.
Okay.
Especially, the elderly, they really don't want to have to maintain it, and a lot of younger families, they're just busy now.
Yep, the what?
He couldn't hear you. He had to speak louder.
Just curious how you define that word.
Senior citizen. If you can get the discount, Jim Bandy, or
Yeah.
if you can tee off from the front. If you can tee off from the front.
Any further questions for Judy on
No,
this?
I'm good.
Thank you for all your work on this.
It's the standing committee. Our city standing committee is amazing. We meet every month and we put in hours of work, and I think they tend to put out a really good product. So I'm really happy with them.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-01 on first reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2025-01 on first reading. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Everybody.
Do you want it read? No?
Huh?
I don't have to read it?
Do you want to?
No?
We can read.
Just
Oh,
checking.
but hey.
Even at my age, I can still read.
Moving on to the second ordinance in your packet or the agenda, ordinance 2025-02. It's an ordinance amending ordinance 2020-14 to update the schedule of fees for Fairview Cemetery. With that, you have not only the proposed adjustments to the fee structure, but then also there's continued conversation that you can see. And on the backside, the last page is a comparison between Sharpsville Cemetery, Green Lawn Cemetery in Greentown, Sunset Memorial in Kokomo, Albright in Kokomo, and Kokomo Memorial Park. So trying to do, I assume from the cemetery board, and Rich, you can jump in, but trying to do a regional assessment of where Fairview Cemetery's fees fall in with the region. The proposed fee schedule does fall below the average of the 5 that they queried. So
I'll make a motion to approve 2025-2 amending ordinance 2020-14 as written.
Second.
a motion is second. Any further discussion, questions? Motion is second, and all those in favor of ordinance 2025-02 on first reading signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Third on the list is the salary ordinance amendment that we discussed in our work session. This is ordinance 2025-03, amending the maximum salaries, wages, and other compensation for police officers, firefighters, and all other employees of the city of Tipton for the year 2025, specifically the clothing allowance on first reading.
I would make a motion first to amend the police department clothing list to parenthetically say sunglasses and then parenthetically say ballistically rated.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to amend ordinance 2025-03 for the police uniform to read sunglasses and in parentheses ballistic. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Make another motion to then remove sunglasses from the fire department clothing list.
Second.
A motion is second to remove sunglasses from the fire department's uniform list. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Then I just make a motion to, with those changes, pass ordinance 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the amended ordinance 2025-03. Any further discussion from the council? Hearing none. Tammy?
Who's second that first? Okay, my question is, so when we go on final reading, am I gonna have this police department attachment A, and I'm gonna have it marked out or put behind sunglasses in parentheses, or am I gonna bring you a new updated list where they don't see that on there?
Like an updated list with
Yeah,
no strike throughs or,
yeah,
So bring an updated list for second reading.
correct. Because the motions and stuff were for the list themselves, not the ordinance. So yeah, it would just be, the what we pass next week will be ballistic rated, or however you want to put it, next to sunglasses. There wouldn't be any strike or anything like that. And then sunglasses wouldn't even appear on the fire department.
Just wanted to get clarification.
we have a motion and a second to approve the amended ordinance 2025-03. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all for that work. Moving on to claims.
I move we approve for payment claims 178546 through 178655 in the amount of $4,085,818.18.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve claims. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Aye.
Nathan abstained. Moving on to our last item, petitions, comments, and memorials.
Roberta Heinzman, 94 Mill Street. I I want to really, really thank the planning department. They're taking an issue, care of an issue that is in the block next to me, and some of it started today, so it's a pleasant surprise to see things moving along a little faster. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's nothing further,
I make an adjournment.
Second.
a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Please give me.